What's up, buddy? How you been? Are you following the trial of Amber Heard Johnny Depp defamation case? Amber Heard, of course, famously claimed that Johnny Depp did her wrong, that he was a horrible abuser. And yet, as this case goes on, kind of sounds like the abuse was coming from her. That this was a crazy, manipulative lady who needs some psychiatric help, it sounds like, who, frankly, drove this man insane. You know, was... cut off his finger, did a dookie in his bed. What are we talking about? This is a crazy story. But we finally are now getting to hear the story from Amber's own mouth. She has been compelled to testify here in the case. She is telling about her relationship with Sir Johnny Depp. And frankly, it is not going very well for her, with many saying that the way she's acting makes it sound like she's devious, deceptive, lying, fake crying. And we're going to take a look at some of this footage as well as someone who is a body language expert who is going to break down what it is that she's doing on the stand and why it's a little concerning. Before we get into it, don't forget, hit that subscribe button right down there. Join the Vito Nation and help support this kind of independent coverage. They don't want us talking about this. Remember, the media tried to bury Johnny's side of the story. And there's only when a bunch of independent outlets came out and said, well, let's hear Johnny's side. Let's see what he has to say. Only now is the narrative starting to change. So I hope you'll consider supporting not just me, but other independent outlets that are covering this story. Now, this is from Court TV. I don't have my own legal experts, so I'm going to have to use theirs. But I found this video very interesting. Again, talking about her body language and how it can be interpreted as her basically making things up on the stand. Let's take a look.
Just seeing my breath on the windshield, you know, on the glass of the window of the door, just seeing my breath and trying to will myself to have the strength to know what I should do in this moment, because I was heartbroken.
This is very bizarre the way she talks. Okay? Now, I'm not the body language expert. We're going to get to the body language expert. But can you not construct a sentence? You were in the car, you were scared, you didn't know how to get up and get out of there. Okay, but you've had literally years to figure out what happened that night, to come up with a story in your head, and she's stumbling, talking about the window of the windshield and the breath and I'm heartbroken. It's crazy that this woman doesn't have her words straight, and the way that she's stumbling over them, as this expert is going to talk about, could be evidence that she isn't being 100% forthcoming. Let's see what this expert has to say.
New York Times bestselling author of the book You Can't Lie to Me, retired ATF investigator and world-renowned body language expert, Janine Driver, back with us. Janine, great to see you.
Nice to see you, Vinny.
So Janine, ATF, former employee, this is somebody who knows what she's talking about. And they're going to take a look at this testimony here from Amber. And it's just so weird the way that she's talking.
Why are you here? I am here because my ex-husband is suing me for an op-ed I wrote.
And how do you feel about that?
I struggle to have the words. I struggle to find the words to describe.
This woman is an actress. I struggle to have the words. What?
How painful this is. This is horrible for me to sit here for weeks and relive everything. Hear people that I knew, some well, some not. My ex-husband, with whom I shared a life. Speak.
These aren't even sentences. Hear my ex-husband who speak of... What is just say what you want to say, lady.
About our lives in the way that they have.
This all seems very calculated.
This is the most painful and difficult thing I've ever gone through.
There you go. That was a full sentence.
Janine Driver, what are you seeing? What are you hearing from Amber Heard there?
The problem with Amber in her testimony is that she does all these start-stop sentences. This is congruent with someone who is being deceptive. In the clips you played earlier, it's interesting because her percentages are off. You know, the question was, do you remember the first time you were hit? And she says yes, and she stacks the deck in the beginning. This is something we saw with Jussie Smollett, who staged a hate crime in Chicago a couple of years ago. He did a huge percent, about 60% up front in his story. The actual incident where this bad stuff happened to him was like 20%, and then a short after. We're seeing the same thing here with Amber Heard. She's stacking the deck up front. She gives us this big stress about how much cocaine he had in this bottle. She's giving us irrelevant information. Liars will often do this, Vinny. They'll give us a lot of truthful information at the front. They're stacking the deck, right? They're telling us all these things are truthful. I believe that the cocaine was there. I believe it was a big bottle. I believe they were sitting on the couch together. The problem is when she gets to the actual attack, it is such a small percent. It's maybe 15%. We have a big before, a big after. The incident itself is small. The percentages are off here.
So what she's saying is, if someone is lying, there's an element of some truth in the lie, of course. So an example would be, with Jussie Smollett. Did you go to a Subway? Yes, I went to a Subway. Was it cold? Yes. So you can start off your testimony by saying all these things which you know are correct and you are very confident in because they are correct and you are telling the truth at that point in time. It's very. I'm sure Johnny Depp had a big bottle of cocaine. Okay, I doubt she's lying about that. He's a wild man in Hollywood. Who in Hollywood has not done cocaine? Okay, let's be clear. But then, once you get down to the nitty-gritty, once you get down to we've established that he had a big bottle of cocaine, he was a party guy, and whatever else. Now, how did the abuse happen? And all of a sudden, she's at a loss for words. This is a woman who had plenty to say when it was true, because she knew all the facts and they were all there. But now that it's fake, and she has to invent how she felt at the time, she has to invent what happened at the time, all of a sudden, yes, these stop-start sentences, which are infuriating. I mean, the judge asked a very simple question. They said, how do you feel about this? Any normal person would go, this is terrible. What is happening? I loved this man, and, the way it ended was not perfect, but now to have him do all these horrible things to me, the easiest question in the world to answer. She goes, well, to hear my friend's husband say things again, and as I brought up, this is a trained actress. She should know how to speak. She has no problem with public speaking, but because of the holes in her story and because the story is not sound, the story is maybe, I don't know. I can't say one way or another, but it sounds like she's being deceptive, and that's why she's stumbling over her words.
Also, I want to talk about something called statement analysis, if I may. One of the things when she said, he slapped me, I want you to re-listen to it over and over again. She doesn't say he slapped me. She says, slapped me. She drops the pronoun, and when people are being deceptive, Vinny, people will have a change in pronouns or they'll drop it. She doesn't say, he slapped me. She also changes her tense. So she goes from slapped, the first one's a slapped, the second one's a slapped, past tense. The third one is a slap. That is current tense. When people are making up a story, they'll talk in current tense. I wrote down some of the things. She then said, before I knew it, he starts crying instead of he started crying.
So basically, this is somebody, again, this is not like this is not a person whose mind is not functioning. Amber Heard is an adult. She has a career that involves public speaking. And you're right, it is very confusing. Why is she changing tenses? Why does it go from slap to slapped? Why, instead of saying he slapped me, does she just say slapped me and loses the pronoun as if to disassociate herself from the situation? This is all very confusing, weird behavior. And frankly, honestly, I would expect her to be a better liar. It seems like she's just a terrible liar. Let's hear the rest of this. This is fascinating.
Her current tense to past tense is indicative of someone who's making up a story in the spot. I think parts of it are true and many of it is deceptive. And that's why anyone in law enforcement watching this, I spoke to law enforcement earlier today, It's laughable, sadly, what she's doing on the court.
I mean, ultimately, I am just so confused by this testimony from Amber Heard. It's all over the place. She's stumbling all over her words. Again, she's had years to prepare for this court case. It's been going on ever since she wrote that op-ed, which I think was, 2018? Okay, and she still can't tell us what happened, what abuse happened, what horrible things Johnny did without constantly stumbling over herself. Why? Because I think she's selling it up. She's trying to play it up. I don't think that these horrible things that happened, if they happened, she's telling them in the most insane way possible. I can't possibly believe this fake crying act. I don't believe what you're putting forth, Amber. And I don't think anyone's buying it either. And that's why, again, this body language expert is saying the way she's jumping around with her words, the way she's changing the way she phrases certain things, all of this points to a woman who is lying. But what do you guys think? I mean, obviously this was a complicated relationship, but when it comes down to it, everything I've heard makes it seem like this Amber Heard was the instigator, was frankly a crazy lady who probably needed some sort of psychiatric help, was fighting all the time. Again, has done horrible things that if the roles were reversed, if Johnny Depp had cut Amber Heard's finger in half with a friggin' beer bottle, we wouldn't be having this discussion. So I just don't buy what's going on. I think this is ridiculous. Why don't you guys, though, let me know. What do you think of Amber Heard's testimony? Does any of this seem truthful? Or is it like this body language expert says? Is she stumbling over these words? Is she starting and stopping her sentences because she's not confident in what she's saying? Because she's run out of the truth, and now she's firmly in the territory of lies? I don't know, but that's the way it seems. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button. Check out my comic book at superkiller.org. And we got more cool videos coming soon. I love you guys. Take care of yourself. Good luck, Amber Heard. You're nuts, nutty lady.